Hello everyone, a very good afternoon to you and welcome along to the Mugello circuit for round 2 of Ferrari Challenge in Europe for 2026. So here we are then in the Tuscan countryside for round 2 of our season, and the weather conditions absolutely beautiful in comparison to what we experienced here in Finale Mondiali towards the end of last year, where it was fairly non-stop rain, but at the moment it's non-stop sunshine. And this circuit then is fantastic, 5.245 kilometers. As I mentioned, it's round 2 of our 2026 calendar. Before we head off to the Styrian Mountains in Austria, then it's Le Mans in support of the 24-hour race, then it's Portimao and Budapest and Barcelona. That's the way it looks for our 2026 calendar for Ferrari Challenge this year. What a year it's turning out to be. What a prospect. It's absolutely phenomenal. And we've enjoyed some awesome racing at the first round, which was in the south of France. Here we are now in Italy. And these are the conditions at the moment. The track temperature is 42 degrees. The air temperature is a positively lovely 20 degrees Celsius. And it really has turned into being a truly beautiful few days that we've enjoyed here, as the cars have been through free practices and qualifyings, of course, and now we get to race. And it's this man that put it on pole position for the Shell drivers, Sven Schirmer. Now, he is the current Shell Am champion, got elevated to the Shell category this year by dint of his success in Shell Am last year. And he has put it on pole position for race 1 today. 30 minutes plus 1 lap. 2 categories of Ferrari Challenge racers in this race. The Shell drivers have a yellow strip across the top of the windscreen, and the Am drivers have a black strip across the top of the windscreen, and you'll see those colours. They will be replicated in graphics as well, so that you can identify who is racing in each of the categories. Eric Chung, who was a race winner in Le Castellet, he is going from P2 on the grid. Very good qualifying performance from the driver of car number 198, Eric Chung, who, as I mentioned, took a P4 and a race win in Le Castellet in the south of France, our opening round back there mid-March. Seems like ages ago that we were racing, but we're back to it now, and it's all coming really rather thick and fast, as just a couple of weeks we'll be heading off to Austria. This is Tibor Valent, and he's the 3rd fastest in the Shell drivers, driving for the Rosso Corsa team. Tibor Valent, who has raced across the Ferrari Challenge for many, many years, and has lost none of his ability or aspiration to always be at the very, very sharp end of Ferrari Challenge racing. Tibor Valent, whose son Benz is a young whipper-snapper driver, that's for sure. And yeah, Tibor here in full effect. Okay, now here you can see the 108 car of Jean Rieu. Now, black strip across the top of the windscreen indicates that Jean is indeed a Shell Am driver, driving for the Kessel Racing team, and he qualified P2 within class. He was bested by Shintaro Akatsu in the 115 car, as if by magic, who posted a phenomenal lap. So it was a great job done by Shintaro Akatsu for the Ineco Reparto Corsa Ram team. Great qualifying indeed, and he was very happy with his performance. I saw him at lunch, and he was very, very pleased about that. Perhaps out of position is the driver of the 186 car, P4 in class, P5 overall, and that is Jan Sandman for Kessel Racing, who chased Sven Schirmer to the title last year in Shell Am. Let's hear from one of our Shell Am drivers now, Paolo Scudieri.
Amici ferraristi, siamo nel mitico circuito del Mugello. Vorrei portarvi a fare un grande giro con me. Siamo sulla mitica 296 Challenge, una vettura da 700 cavalli, pienamente performante per una pista così difficile. Eccoci alla partenza, rettilineo lunghissimo, uno dei più lunghi del campionato, ci avviciniamo a una velocità di circa 290 km/h alla prima curva, la San Donato, staccatona a circa 70 metri dal limite della curva, accelerazione e tutto a destra per iniziare con la prima variante, sinistra-destra impegnativa, la prima di terza, la seconda di quarta, e poi si esce approfittando dell'ultimo millimetro di pista per essere velocissimi ed affrontare la seconda variante, anch'essa estremamente stretta, e un'uscita importantissima perché ci avviciniamo alla Casanova Savelli, quasi fuori pista per affrontare la prima e poi sul cordolo per la seconda, allargare tutto per poter prendere maggiore velocità, quinta piena, un leggero lift per poi affrontare le arrabbiate, le mitiche arrabbiate, arrabbiata 1, arrabbiata 2, eccoci scollinare, la vettura si scompone leggermente, altra chicane importantissima, eccoci ancora al limite della pista, la vettura ovviamente sempre al limite dei giri per approfittare delle prestazioni, frenata, una terza che ci porta alle mitiche chicane velocissime per affrontare l'ultima curva, molto difficile, molto veloce, in contropendenza. Un'attesa prima di accelerare e dare tutto il gas per affrontare l'ultimo tratto, ci porta sul traguardo e qui speriamo di fare i migliori tempi della giornata.
Big thanks to the Samo car driver Paolo Scudieri then for giving us a high-speed lap of the Mugello circuit. And I kid you not, having been at the end of the start-finish straight, doing very nearly 290 kilometers per hour, it is a breathtaking experience as you head in towards turn number 1, the San Donato turn. So there we have it then. The grid is being lined up. The Ferrari Challenge, of course, reaching around the world as the 2026 season of the Japan season kicked off at Suzuka alongside the Formula One Grand Prix in the Trofeo Pirelli. It was Suzuki who was the standout star of race 1. In Pirelli Am, it was Yamatsuzu. In the Copa Shell, Ken Bo claimed success while Falcon dominated the Copa Shell Am. Lots of action going on, that's for sure. Now, in race 2, we're about to get underway. Suzuki completed a double in the Trofeo Pirelli. At the Sebring International Raceway, the second round of the Challenge Trofeo Pirelli got underway with Kaminsky taking victory in race 1. Trofeo Pirelli Am, it was Beckman securing his first win of the season. Copa Shell saw Rosser claiming the win, while Melissa Kozira triumphed in Copa Shell Am. On the second day, it was Kaminsky closing out the Sebring weekend with another victory in race 2. In the Trofeo Pirelli Am, it was Mitchell, and then it was Parker in Copa Shell, while Melissa Kozira completed a double in Copa Shell Am. In Australasia, its second round of the championship was at the Phillip Island circuit, with Armstrong converting pole into victory in the opening race ahead of Hamilton in second and Subay in third. In Copa Shell, Nordin prevailing over Traverne and Taguchi. Trofeo Pirelli 488, Tamain took the win, and on the second day, Pollicina won in the Trofeo Pirelli with Subay and Hamilton competing the podium. Taguchi claimed victory in Copa Shell, followed by Baby K in second and Baildon in third. It was Tamain that secured the double in Trofeo Pirelli 488. This is the Autodromo Internacional del Mugello then, 5.245 kilometers. 14 turns, 6 left, 8 right. Sector 1 contains 3 turns, Sector 2 contains 6, and Sector 3 contains 5 turns. It undulates its way through the Tuscan countryside here in just outside Florence. About an hour or so from Florence, hour and 10 from Bologna. Race start. We're about to go racing. Welcome, everybody. The cars are released. We'll bring you the grid in full in just a moment. What a lovely shot that is to watch these 296 Challenge cars heading off down the start-finish straight here with 2 elevation changes before you reach the point that we're looking at right now. In the glistening sunshine, the cars look utterly awesome. On board with the Richard Mills safety car. Sven Schirmer going from pole position. Eric Chung will be alongside him when they grid up in side-by-side formation. Here is the grid from back to front then. Louis Perugia from P26. Lisa Clark's alongside P25. It's Tommy Lindroth. Welcome back to racing, Tommy. Alvaro Ramos alongside. Then it's Ken Sato and Stefano Inama. They go from P22 and 21, completing row 11. And on row 10, it's Alwa Mer and Leon Rinbeek. It's Robin Mays and Charles Chan. They go from P18 and P17. Masaru Yaneda and Fritz Muller, they are on the next row, which is row 8. The starting grid brought to you by Faye. With Giuseppe Ramelli, welcome back. Giuseppe and Paolo Scudieri on the 7th row. Then it's Alexandra Lima and Henrik Kamstrup, P12 and P11. Alexei Komarov and Lucas Azato will their P10 and P9, completing row 5. It's Boris Gideon and Fons Skeltermar then on the 4th row of the grid, P8 and P7. With Jean Rieu and Jan Sandman, they're going from P6 and P5 respectively. Shintaro Akatsu and Tibor Valent are on the 2nd row, but on the front row of the grid, it's Eric Chung and Sven Schirmer going from P2 and P1. So what an awesome start this is going to be to our racing proceedings. Let's hear from Sven Schirmer right now.
I mean, on Thursday, the car was simply not handleable for us. We used all the Friday to find a good setup. Finally, it all added up to the qualifying. Whoa. I hope for a good weekend.
Thank you, Sven. And Sven Schirmer from Germany. Also from Germany, my colleague alongside me, Nico Spalek. Welcome to Mugello. It was only a couple of months we were here.
It is indeed, and it was a very different weather condition, pouring down with rain. It's glorious sunshine. The driver focus is not going to be on the weather. It's going to be what happens in front of them, behind them, and in front of everybody is the Richard Mille safety car. That will peel off and that will send everybody into this race. 26 cars on the grid. It's going to be quick, frantic, and hopefully clean through the first few turns.
It's a really interesting dynamic on the front row of the grid because Sven Schirmer took a P4 and a P3, if memory serves me, in the south of France. Eric Chung, on his return to racing, he was victorious. He took a race win. So he will be buoyed with the confidence. He knows Mugello probably as well as almost any other driver on the grid, I would have thought. And he will be hoping to make it count going into turn number 1.
No question. Red lights up there. It's a long way to the green light, but it's not far away anymore.
Stand by, hold on to any loose clothing that you might have because we're about to go racing. Lighting gantry to the top of the screen for you as we track the car. Sven Schirmer, Eric Chung side by side. And let's go racing. Already Tibor Valent trying to split the two at the front, and Jan Salmon with quite a good start as well. Sven Schirmer has got the gun seat though, going into turn number 1. Tibor Valent right behind him, trying to scrub off the speed. They're on relatively cold tyres. Eric Chung all the way around the outside. You can make it work here. It would give him the inside line for Sandonata turn, but unfortunately he wasn't able to hold on around the outside. So that has meant that Tibor Valent was not able to take advantage. Neither was Jan Sandman, Sven Schirmer, Eric Chung, Tibor Valent, Fons Skeltermar getting by Shintaro Akatsu. So all the cars through the first sequence of turns are relatively unscathed, I believe, which is great to see. Packed grid of cars, some 26 cars out there on track. And what a phenomenal sight this is. As Boris Gideon we're looking at now in the 103 car. He's running P2 in class. That's P2 in the Shell Am drivers. I remind you, Shell Am drivers with the black strip across the top of the windscreen. The Shell drivers with the yellow strip across the top of the windscreen. Eric Chung being chased by Tibor Valent. And of course, the more Eric Chung has to defend from Tibor Valent, it's playing into the hands of Sven Schirmer. He was able to escape up the road and has built a gap of 1.442 seconds before even one lap has been completed. Great showing from Sven Schirmer ahead of Eric Chung and Tibor Valent. Then it is Jan Salmon and Fons Skeltermar. For the AM drivers, it's Shintaro Akatsu ahead of Boris Gideon. Then it is Luke Sazato, who is running P3 ahead of Jean Rieu. So there is Schirmer, there is Chung, and there is Tibor Valent. So who is looking lively here? The top 3 is spaced out a bit. However, looking further back, Paolo Scudieri is looking like he's trying to find a way past Charles Chan. And Leon Rinbeek is in that mix as well. And we ride on board with Paolo Scudieri, who gave us that high-speed lap of this circuit just a few moments ago. And now you can see him really pulling in Charles Chan here. Getting closer, getting closer, getting closer. Charles Chan is protecting the inside line. Love this shot, well done. As we stay right now with Paolo Scudieri. Now, Charles Chan runs just a little bit wide, but not wide enough. He needed a 2.96 challenge size gap there, and it wasn't there, Nico.
No, Paolo Scudieri really showing his track knowledge, as you say, a little bit of a gap, but not nearly enough. Sven Schirmer stretching his legs, 2 seconds to the good of Eric Chung, Tibor Valent, Jan Sandman, and von Skeltemer. And von Skeltemer, as you said, moved up past Shintaro Akatsu. He will try to get on terms with Jan Sandman. Jan Sandman will try to stretch his legs and get on terms with the top 3 in front of him.
Charles Chan, one of the big movers in terms of the progress chart. He'd moved up some 6 places from his starting position already. We are beginning to see some drivers fall foul of track limits. Now, the deal and the rule here is, as we take a look at the replay of the start, that you'll get a maximum of 3 track limit warnings before a penalty is applied to you. So here you can see how Tibor Valent was trying to split the top 2, quite got the momentum to be able to put the car right between the middle of them. So into turn number 1 they came, and it's that big uphill stroke, and yeah, Eric Chung just not quite with enough temperature in the tyres to be able to hold on around the outside. We're right on board with him now, and just I was talking about it, you could see that he'd got his nose in front, Nico, but it just wasn't enough to be able to hold on and climb up the hill. Sven Schirmer was able to right royally show him a clean pair of heels. So forgive me for droning on about this, but it is important. Already, those with track limit warnings are Boris Gideon, Henrik Kamstrup, Giuseppe Romelli and Alvaro Ramos. That may come to haunt some drivers in the course of the race. Sandman has set the fastest lap for the Shell drivers. Shintaro Akatsu, fastest lap for the AM drivers. So Schirmer is leading by 2.3 seconds over Eric Chung and Tibor Valent. Shintaro Akatsu has got a reasonable margin over Boris Gideon for P1 and P2 in the Shell AM drivers. There is Jan Sandman. There is Alexei Komarov. There you can see the 102 car of Robin Mays. Whichever way you look, there's plenty going on in this Ferrari Challenge race right now, and their confirmation that the Copa Shell fastest lap has come from Jan Sandman, who you may recall, if you studied with as much vigour as we did, the wonderful season that we had last year, as Paolo Scudieri appears to be dropping down the order. You can see that from the left-hand side of your screen on the graphics, and that's the reason why. That's a curious place for Paolo Scudieri to be off. Now, where that is on the track, that's just after the chicane, Nico?
Yeah, somewhere at the end of the first sector. Turns
safety
4,
car,
5.
safety car, forgive me interrupting you. Safety car has been called for. Here's how it happened. Oh, it just got out of shape. Oh, that's big contact. See it from on board the car right now. Absolutely on a knife edge. Well, the barrier's doing their job and absorbing the energy, and yeah, Paolo Scudieri is beached. That has brought out the safety car. Paolo Scudieri, as you can see, is out of the car and is perfectly okay, which is testament to the integral safety of the Ferrari Challenge 296 car, because it was driver's side on into the barriers, Nico, but really, really good to see. So all the advantage that Sven Schirmer had counts as nothing now. Let's just take a look at the big movers then. Leon Rinbeek up 7 places. Charles Chan up 6 places. Down 6, Lima. Down up 4 places, Louis Perouskia. So there's some big movers in terms of the progress made since the start of the race. And we're on board with the Richard Mills safety car for the recovery of the car of Paolo Scudieri. We just saw Eric Chung's wife, Corinne, who was featured center camera. And this is her husband that we ride on board with now, Eric Chung, who will feel like potentially, Nico, he's been gifted an opportunity maybe at the conclusion of this safety car to get back on terms with Sven Schirmer. At the moment, I didn't see any recovery going on, so it'll be a few moments, I think, behind the Richard Mills safety car, friend.
Yeah, probably. As you say, the gap that Sven Schirmer had built, which was 2.5 seconds or so when the safety car was called, obviously that has been diminished, as has pretty much every other gap. So a lot of drivers will feel like an opportunity has been gifted.
Andrea Gagliardini, you saw there, who's one of the driver coaches to Sven Schirmer, alongside Max Blancardi, just advising Sven Schirmer how to deal with this, because from a psychological point of view as well as a physical point of view, Nico, what's happened is you've started the race, you've done 6 or 7 minutes of the race, absolutely full chat flat, you've put yourself into a reasonable position leading the race, and then all of a sudden it feels like bleh. I don't know quite what bleh means, but you know, you've come under the control of the safety car, so it's a complete reset that you've got to go through.
Absolutely, and I think this is one of the challenges. We take a look at the Live Championship, which in fairness at this stage of the season, not quite as important as it will be in the final race.
Of course.
But you still want to be at the sharp end at any time. So I think it's one of the big overlooked challenges of being a racing driver. It's not only about being fast for one lap, it's about racecraft, dealing with other drivers on the track, but also dealing with adversity, with different situations, keeping your head up. And it's one thing to keep pushing and always pushing and always pushing, and that is difficult enough, but psychologically it's fairly easy, because there is only one way. If you have to manage the tires, if you have to be in control of everything in the car, and you have time to think, that's when the mental strength of those drivers really comes into focus.
Well, there is Paolo Scudieri. Not only is he perfectly okay, but he's getting a lift back to the paddock as well on the back of a moped, so that's really, really good to see. I'm sure that Paolo will be out for qualifying tomorrow. Just really, really unfortunate, but you're driving on such a knife edge, Nico, that, you know, just 1 millimetre, 1 centimetre, perhaps more curb than you intentionally planned to do. You know, it's just enough to split the back end out, and I think that's what happened to Paolo Scudieri. Safety car is coming in at the conclusion of this lap, which means we will go back to racing, which, by my reckoning, will give us around about 19 minutes of hot rod race action to come.
Indeed, plus a lap. And yes, exactly. I mean, everybody's so much on the edge and on the limit, and then you miss one apex a little bit, you're a little bit, the car is a little bit loose somewhere, you have to control, and then you're not on the line that you're used to it through a certain section. And when then something else happens, it's so very easily done, and it just shows how much they are pushing. And each and every one of those drivers are really, really pushing for it.
Shintaro Akatsu sporting a new livery for this weekend, and well, the new livery is certainly working for the car engineered by this team, Nico Reparto Corsa Ram. So Shintaro Akatsu doing a very good job in qualifying, and at the moment he's qualified and is racing in P1. He's following the Boris Gideon car, you can see there. Shintaro Akatsu, driver of the 115 car. So the cars, it will be a single line as they cross the start-finish line now for the restart of the race, which is around about 3 turns away right now. Now, it's up to Sven Schirmer to control the pace of the restart, Nico, and this is where the valuable input from the likes of Max Blancardi and Andrea Gagliardini will be worth everything, because they'll be telling Sven exactly how to control this, because ultimately it's the responsibility and up to Sven when he gives it 100% on the accelerator pedal. His choice, his determination, and Eric Chung and Tibor Valint and every other driver behind has got to try and ascertain when he's going to go for it. My bet is halfway through this bend. How right am I?
Absolutely, he's gone for it. Eric Chung anticipated reasonably, but certainly Sven Schirmer is up in the clear. Everybody else seems to have followed a similar pattern. I think von Skeltema missed it a little bit. Jan Sandman already built a little bit of a gap between P4 and P5. There is an overtake potentially on. Is that Boris Gideon on the inside?
I think it was Boris Gideon on the inside of Fritz Müller or Jean Roux, I think it was. And let's ride on board with Eric Chung now, as right on the gearbox of Sven Schirmer. So he's not letting Sven Schirmer get away here. Sven Schirmer initially on the restart got away nicely, but Eric Chung is bringing it back to him right now. So this is the fight that's going on for the lead of the race. Sven Schirmer leading Eric Chung. The car that we ride on board with right now is P2. Downhill they go now. And there is our race leader. There's P2. And, of course, Tibor Valint is right up the trumpet of Eric Chung as well. And Jan Salmon is pushing hard, and so too is von Skeltema. So it's a bit of a train of cars there, Nico. Eric Chung, of course, will want to defend his P2 position, but he wants to attack as well. So Sven Schirmer, who's got the benefit of clear track ahead of him, can just focus on everything in front and not worry about what's behind. And that actually is probably going to pay dividends for him.
It is, but it's also easier said than done, especially if you have that ambition like Sven Schirmer, for whom anything but P1 is effectively unacceptable. So he will be very, very focused and minded. But he's also aware that there is a lot of drivers. There are a lot of drivers behind him who will be vying for that P1 spot, and Tibor Valent one of them, and Jan Sandman just the same. Shintaro Katsu has also held firm in his P1 position in class.
Ahead of Lucas Desato and Boris Gideon. They are the top three in Shell Am. Reminder to you that the Shell drivers have the yellow colour across their graphics, and the Am drivers have the black colour across their graphics as they put another lap in the book here. What have we got? Just under 17 minutes plus 1 lap remaining past the Faye speed cam. And the car's approaching 300 kilometers per hour at turn 1. It's one heck of a rate of knots, I can tell you, and you've got to have a lot of confidence in your braking, and a lot of confidence in holding on to the car around turn 1, because you're climbing uphill or through the right-hander, Nico, and then you're into a chicane almost immediately. So you've said more than once, and it's absolutely accurate, that there's hardly any time to breathe on this circuit.
Indeed, and the one spot, as you said, where you can breathe, because it's a straight part of the track, is at such a speed that you really have to be on your mantle, and especially if someone else is putting the pressure on you.
Yes.
There goes your relaxation. Sven Schirmer is trying to pull away, and the moment that Tibor Valent and Jan Salmon will get on Eric Chung, that means Eric Chung might have to start defending, and that would be a blessing for Sven Schirmer, but it's not there yet.
Don't want to be the prophet of doom here, Nico, but Eric Chung, who is P2 at the moment, has got 2 track limits against him. He can only afford one more before he would incur a time penalty. So, you know, in his P2, bearing in mind, going into this race, as we saw just a few moments ago, Eric Chung leading the championship. Yeah, 2 track limits. I mean, a number of drivers have picked up track limits warnings, including Fons Skeltermar and indeed Boris Gideon. But 2 remains the number for our driver that is position 2 at the moment, Eric Chung. We're riding on board with him right now, looking back at the car of Tibor Valent. Tibor Valent, of course, now, were the team to advise Tibor, and also, of course, a team that Eric was in possession of 2 track limits, and Tibor was able to get a bit closer to him. It's not beyond the realms of possibility that he could almost push him into making 1 or 2 little track limits, which would be enough to cause problems, but we will see. For now, Sven Schirmer has not, in my opinion, Nico, been able to break away in quite the same pace, or on quite the same pace as he did at the original start of the race. The gap is just 0.6 between P1 and P2, and now all of a sudden Tibor Valent's rear-view screen is really full of the Jan Salmon car.
And that certainly means that there is less pressure on Eric Chung from Tibor Valent for the moment, at least. We've seen that zigzag and seesaw time and time again.
Yep.
But as you say, Jan Salmon looked like he's a little bit quicker, has the fastest lap to his name as well. But it's one thing being quicker, it's another thing getting past, and Tibor Valent, with all his experience, is not going to make it easy. Here is our leader in the
Eric
AMS.
Chung, forgive me, Nico. Eric Chung has picked up his final warning for track limits. It's his final warning. He can ill afford another excursion beyond the white lines. It would take his P2 away from him, Nico, because the time penalty that he would incur would be 5 seconds, which would probably drop him some way down the order. So Eric needs to be careful here. So Schirmer, Chung, Valent, then Sandman. Sandman, the very car, the center picture right now. The black and orange livery across the driver from Germany. Chasing down the Tibor Valent number 132 car. Sven Schirmer now in a position of very nearly 9/10, and that will increase, I think, when they get into or cross the timing line this time around. We've got 13¼ minutes plus 1 lap of racing still to come. There is Shintaro Akatsu heading Lucas Desato and Boris Gideon. And sure enough, Sven Schirmer has put another 4/10 on the gap between himself and Eric Chung.
Yeah, and to add a little bit to this battle here in the Amps, it was Azato who took 2 wins at Le Castellet, so he would certainly want to make it 3 out of 3.
That would be brilliant, wouldn't it? Yes.
Equally, he is in a good position in the championship early on. He's not going to waste it, we think, on a daredevil move, but certainly he has the confidence in being one with the car, having a good setup, and that means he would certainly want to have that win. Shintaro Katsu is holding firm.
Final warnings have also been issued to the likes of Charles Chan and Alexander Lima with regards to track limits. So Eric Chung is not the only guilty party, as it were. So as we continue racing in Kobe-Shalem Live Championship points, it would be this way at the moment. Luke Zazato on 47 points ahead of Boris Gideon, who would move up to P2, and Shintaro Akatsu, who would move up 3 places into P3 by dint of his performance of certainly being P1 in this race at the moment. 8/10 the gap between P1 and P2. Eric Chung has just turned the wick up a little bit more. Jan Sandman, despite all his efforts, has not been able to find a way past the car ahead of him, which is Tibor Valent. Fons Skeltermar steadfast in P5. Get the impression that Fons is being quite clever here and just he's going to allow those cars ahead of him to do his fighting for him and just be ready to pick up any position that should benefit by dint of just being a bit patient and a bit cautious here. Maybe sometimes it pays off, but when you're a racing driver, you just want to get on with it and up the road. And trying to get up the road here is Henrik Kamstrup on Fritz Muller, I believe it is, as they go side by side. The electric blue colours of Henrik Kamstrup to the outside, it's Fritz Muller to the inside in the red and white. Kamstrup, I would think, has got just enough momentum to be able to close the door going into turn number 1. I could be wrong here, though. It's happened in the past. I know you find that really hard to believe. And there, Fritz Muller was very clever, just braking at exactly the right moment to deny Henrik Kamstrup the opportunity to get underneath the car of Fritz Muller. So good driving there from both of them, Nico.
Indeed, Henrik Kamstrup didn't have a great qualifying, had an excursion into the gravel, recovered the car from there, but it meant that his final charge at a better starting position was thwarted, but he is quick, and now we have the first track limits penalty. It's the car.
Alexander Lima, isn't it? Alexander Lima, I think.
Yeah, the 127 car, and you will get it on screen for you in a moment. It's not relevant for the top positions, but obviously it is a damper for Alexander Lima.
Yes, you'll see a red bar alongside his race time in due course. There it is, as if by magic. Look at car that's running P18 at the moment, and that is the Alexander Lima car, driver of car number 127. He's got a red bar against his race number now. That red bar indicating that he has a time penalty of 5 seconds that will be added to his race time, which will take him right to the back of the pack, I would suggest, at the end of the classification. So we have just under 10 minutes plus a lap to do. And despite valiant efforts from a number of drivers here, Nico, what they have done and what they have proven is that without exceeding the track limits, sometimes it's jolly difficult here at Mugello to make it work. You know, you've got to be so bold and brave, and you almost need a little bit of fortune from the driver that you're trying to attack.
Yeah, Mugello is, as Jan Salmon takes a look on the inside, but Tibor Valent is wise of it and keeps his head, keeps his cool. Yeah, he's not unsettled by that, and in a way that maybe brings Fons Skeltermar closer into that battle as well. Mugello is a track that's traditionally very, very difficult to overtake on, and the 296 Challenge, obviously the cars are identical, save for the small setup influence that the teams can make. So it's really down to the driver, and as you say, sometimes it just takes that little bit of an error. We've seen drivers push others into errors.
Yes.
But when the other driver doesn't give you that advantage and does the favor for you, it's very, very difficult.
Yeah, you need to almost provoke a mistake, don't you? And that's precisely what Jan Salmon has been trying to do. But to be fair, Tibor Valent, who's of quite some heritage racing stock, kind of knows where to place the car, and he's not being pressured at all from the attack from Jan Salmon at the moment. Will that change in the course of the next 8 minutes plus 1 lap? Who knows? It's one of the things we find so fascinating about the Ferrari Challenge. You just do not know which way it's going to go from the start of the race to the end of the race. Never predict.
Yeah, and Jan Salmon, who was pushing for a long part, now for a few moments at least looked like he was more vulnerable to von Scheltema. And it's these dynamics that play out, but you can see here from that great shot that the first 7 cars have really gapped everybody else with a 4.5 seconds between Lucas Azato and Boris Gideon.
Yeah, very fair point. Here is von Scheltema really hounding Jan Salmon now, Nico. You were absolutely right. There was a good spot from you because Salmon, all of a sudden, his prowess has got to go from attack to defend. So Fon's trying to scrub the speed off now. If Jan Salmon carries a bit too much speed into turn number 1, is Fon's able to get to the inside? He's not close enough to be able to do it, and I don't think the gap was there in any event. But nonetheless, Salmon is getting the hurry up here, Nico.
Definitely, and both of them are obviously Kessel Racing drivers, so maybe a few tense moments in the pits.
Yes.
The last thing you want to see is your 2 drivers coming together, and nothing of that sort. Eric Chung has held the gap towards Sven Schirmer, which you could see is just over half a second, and
he's not fallen foul any more times, which is really impressive.
Yeah, and
there's an argument if you can do it now. What happened? But then there is a train of thought that if you know you're going to get away with 3 track limits, maybe you'll take them.
Yeah, there's also a train of thought if you still have a spare one in the back come the final turn, final lap, you might still use it.
Whoa!
As Thibaut Valent runs a little bit sideways there,
yeah,
controlled it, didn't change much in terms of gaps. We have another time penalty for track limits, the 102 car.
Robin Mays, who's in the shell category, and he's running P17 in the race overall, and Robin Mays running P8 in class. That's going to drop him probably to P10, I would think, or maybe even P11, but we will see come the end of the race where that leaves everybody. In the meantime, Shintaro Akatsu, Lucas Azato, P1 and P2. And Lucas Azato now, Nico, is really taking it to Shintaro Akatsu. He's virtually welded to the Shellam leader. So into turn number 1 they go. Now Akatsu was very wide there. Has that opened up the gap to Lucas Azato? And Azato very cleverly braked just at the right moment. But Shintaro Akatsu, is he going to be able to come back here? I don't think he is. I think that was a very, very good move by Lucas Azato, because what he did, he got to the inside, he knew he'd got to scrub the speed off and he would struggle to do that, but he just braked at exactly the right moment.
Yeah, I'm sure if Akatsu had a clear track, he would have been able to get through, but there was the car of Azato in the way, and I think it started even earlier potentially, where he went to the outside initially. Akatsu closed the door on the outside, and then he came into the inside, and the rule is you can change your position as a defender, you can change it once on one straight, but once you've committed to one side, you're not allowed to zigzag. And that was what Azato was aware of, and that's what he put to full effect. So, change in the lead for the AMs. Azato now in front of Akatsu, Boris Gideon 4 seconds behind, still running in a podium position.
With the Shell drivers, it's as we were with Schirmer, Chung and Valent, then the 1, 2, 3. There is Thibaut Valent and Jan Salmon and von Scheltema. Almost a 3-way hit line there. And for my money, von Scheltema is looking the liveliest here, Nico, and Jan Salmon having to really defend quite hard. And as you made the very valid point just a few moments ago, you've got 2 Kessel Racing drivers together now. Now, there are certainly no team orders within the teams, but of course there is team camaraderie, and you don't want to be upsetting one of your teammates.
Indeed, and we're about 3 minutes 40 seconds away, and they're just crossing the timing line. So with a lap time of 1:54, it's 3 more laps from here on out. Once they, as Jan Salmon goes on the inside.
Oh, that was Thibaut Valent was well, he was steadfast there, wasn't he? But what that's done, it's allowed von Scheltema to get a bit closer, as it made Jan Salmon a bit more vulnerable. Arguably so it did over those 2 or 3 turns, and now hopefully Jan has been able to settle himself back down again.
Yeah, and I was about to call Sven Schirmer 1.4 seconds to the good of Eric Chung just a few turns ago, but it's back to 6:10, so it's really seesawing, and part of that is a different setup, that you're quicker in certain sections, potentially, but in any event, this is not over yet, and every position can change between P1 and P5. Isn't that beautiful?
With tongue firmly in cheek, I just want to give a big shout out to Alexander Lima, who has got 8 time limit warnings against him and 18 seconds worth of time penalty, which has taken him into qualifying. Sven Schirmer from Eric Chung and Tibor Valent. Then it is Jan Salmon, the car that we are tracking right now, ahead of von Skeltermar. Luke Cesato leading in the AM drivers ahead of Shintaro Akatsu and Boris Gideon. And not to be outdone by here, Lisa Clark with 6 track limits as well. So there's plenty going on. You can see the color bars on the graphics indicating each red bar means 5 seconds worth of time penalty that will be added at the end of the race, which is 2 minutes and 1 lap away. There is the 172 car of Giuseppe Romelli returning to Ferrari Challenge Racing this weekend for Pellin Racing. Great to see Giuseppe back out there again. Has been a fixture on the Ferrari Challenge for many years, to be fair. And as I say, good to see him back as Jan Salmon now and Tibor Valent get to trade a bit of paint here. And Tibor Valent and Jan Salmon making contact there. And I don't think that it's all done yet, as a round has gone.
I think it's Eric Chung.
I think you're right. I think it is Eric Chung. So that has changed things. It's now Sven Schirmer from Tibor Valent and Jan Salmon. Eric has got the car pointing back in the right direction again, thankfully, but all of a sudden has dropped out of the order in terms of where he was. Now, I don't know whether there was contact. I don't think there was. I think he was on his own, Nico.
Yeah, by virtue of the gaps which had been when they crossed the timing line, certainly must have been, but...
So look. Oh, just caught the curb.
Like Paolo Scudieri.
Absolutely.
And then right behind them, obviously, Tibor Valent and Jan Salmon trading quite a little bit of pain, and that's what we see here.
And Tibor was making sure that he maintained his position on the track there.
Yeah, he knew that if he allowed Salmon alongside...
That was all over, wasn't it?
Yeah, that Salmon would have the inside line through this sequence of turns.
It was a big recovery from Eric Chung, Nico.
Yeah, absolutely. So, lots happening. I was about to say, well, I was sure that there would be a reshuffling of the order, and then nothing happened for minute after minute after minute. And just when I said, oh, well, probably not, that's when it happened. So yes. It tells you what I know.
Right, Sven Schirmer, who's been undaunted by any of that and has got a margin now of 2.2 seconds, he is going to cross the line now, which is going to give us the +1 lap. So the clock has counted down to 0. He crosses the timing line now, which means we start the final lap. He has 1.4 seconds, so Tibor Valent is chasing, but to find 1.4 seconds in the course of 1 lap is going to be a big ask. Schirmer, Valent, Sandman. And then don't rule von Skeltermar out of this either. Fons would love to be back on the podium again, and it's not beyond the realms of possibility here. As he chases down Jan Salmon. There is Schirmer. There is Tibor Valent. And then Jan Salmon and von Skeltermar. Nothing is over until the rotund lady has sung or at least waved the checkered flag. And still, things can happen between now and the end of the race. For the AM drivers, it is Azato, Akatsu and Boris Gideon. And Azato is on his final warning. Thankfully, it's the last lap, and then presumably, therefore, that diminishes the chances of him picking up a penalty, perhaps.
It's never over until it's over, and
fair.
In the Ferrari Challenge, more than anywhere else, probably.
What can Fons do over the final 3 turns to try and get by Jan Salmon here and take a podium out of this? He's quicker than Sandman, but he's just not quite close enough, I don't think. Here comes Sven Schirmer, who is going to round the final turn and head for home and head for the checkered flag. His family here supporting him this weekend. Farnas, his wife, will be delighted as Sven Schirmer heads for the checkered flag and takes the win for the Shell drivers ahead of Tibor Valin, Jan Salmon and Fons Skeltermar. Now for the AM drivers, it's going to be Lucas Azato and Shintaro Akatsu. There is Sven Schirmer, and there is Farnas, Sven Schirmer's wife, along with the driver coaches. He's done a good job here. He had to do it twice as well because we had a safety car early on. And there you can see the delight inside the garage of Sven Schirmer. Driving, of course, for Penske Sport Wagen Hamburg. There'll be a German team then. Schirmer, Valent and Sandman. Sorry.
What gave it away?
Zato, Katsu and Gideon then for the Shell AM drivers. Oh, loving. Well done to our volunteers, the marshals then. Doing such a great job with the flags. I love to see that. It's called entertainment, and that's why we love motor racing. Well done.
Absolutely, and as you can see on the bonnet of Azato is also a Kessel Racing driver, so Jan Salmon, Fons Skeltermar, Lucas Azato, all Kessel Racing drivers on 3rd, 4th and 5th overall. 3rd and 4th in Shell, and the winner in the AM. So lots of celebration across various garages, but especially here in the Kessel garage, lots of reasons to be happy. And I think Fons Skeltermar would have certainly loved to have that podium.
Yes, he would. Yes, he would. And he was certainly trying, but it's a measure of Fons's racing prowess that he's better off banking what he's got than risking everything.
Yeah, and I think he will. I mean, he's one of those who will be saying fair play to you guys. You deserve this podium, even though next time I will get you.
Yeah, you're right.
Don't forget that second part. Sven Schirmer comes into Parc Fermé and will park up at the number 1 board, I predict. And in this case, I predict correctly, as he's the first, across the line, the first into Parc Fermé, and Jan Salmon and Tibor Valent pulling alongside.
Bravo, eh? Super good, Ben.
Super good. Max Blancardi and Andrea Gagliardini there offering their congratulations to Sven Schirmer, who, it has to be said, Nico, in terms of temperament, is either as happy as he is today or he isn't. Which is kind of obvious, but he is certainly someone that you know where you stand with his emotions, I would suggest.
Yeah, I think there is. We haven't seen a lot of middle ground. Let's just put it that way. But he's always very entertaining, and
he is.
He is very honest about how he feels about him, and he'll be very honestly happy. Tibor Valent, Boris Gideon. He also on the podium finished P8. He also didn't have a great qualifying and moved up the order. Shout out also to Henrik Kamstrup, who finished in P6.
Yes, and was almost quite anonymous with that P6 finish. Didn't see as much of him as perhaps sometimes we do. There was that one overtake that we did see. So all the cars down there in Parc Fermé. And
it was
Lucas Azato, then 3 out of 3. Well done, Lucas. Yeah, it's being advised that you were on the final warning, mate. Teams are always ready to point out the obvious. Sven Schirmer, Tibor Valent, Jan Salmon, the top 3 for our Shell drivers. For the AM drivers, Lucas Azato, Shintaro Akatsu, and Boris Gideon. The top 3 and the rest of the order on screen for you. Of course, we will be hearing from our race winners in due course. Always enjoyable when Ludovica will be down there, pouncing like a piranha. Ready to get hold of Sven Schirmer, who's, may I say, that profile shot that we can see on the left there is typical of one side of Sven's emotions. Let's hear another side of them right now with Ludovico, who will be down there with the driver of this car in just moments from now. For Penske Sport Wagen Hamburg, Sven Schirmer then taking victory. Deservedly so, did a good job. Right, let's hear from him now then. Ludovica has got hold of him. Race winner is Sven Schirmer.
Sven, congratulations. What an incredible and clear race for you here at Mugello. As you say this morning after your qualifying session yesterday, you took the perfect setup with your coach, and today you managed in the best way this setup and your car.
Yeah, I mean, you could see it was a, it was a start-finish, so perfect for me. I like it a lot. I even controlled it a bit, so yeah, it cannot be better than that. I hope for the same tomorrow.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Well done, Sven. And well done, Ludovica.
And she will have more work to do after we see Drivers' Championship in Copa-Shell.
She'll be trying to get hold of Lucas Azzato, which I find, the reason I'm laughing is Lucas Azzato is about 7 foot tall, whereas Ludo is about 4. There's quite a difference. You need a little box for Ludovica to stand on. Oh, so do you remember years and years and years ago there was a piece we did to camera with Tommy Lindroth and Christian Kinch, both from Sweden. Christian Kinch is about 9 foot tall, and Tommy is about 3 foot tall, so they did have to get a box, didn't they?
Lucas Azzato was a race winner in Copa-Shell in all that levity.
Right, let's hear from our Shell Am race winner then, Lucas Azzato, 3 out of 3.
Lucas, congratulations. This is your third win in a row after the round of Porrecard in Le Castellet. So I want to discover with you, how do you manage this race and how do you build this important result with your team?
Yeah, I had a not so good qualifying, only P5, so I was trying to push from the beginning. I had a very good start, and after I pushed a lot, it was really hard, the race for me. So in the end, I was lucky to took the P1 in the end.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Ferrari Challenge Copa-Shell, race 1. Mugello circuit, cars side by side, heading towards the lighting gantry. And the lights go out, let's go racing. Great start from Sven Schirmer. Thibaut Valin trying to split to Eric Chung, and Sven Schirmer going into turn number 1 right now. Who is going to be in front? It's going to be Sven Schirmer, surely. Eric Chung will try and put it around the outside, but isn't quite able to find the grip that he needs. Through the San Donato turn, this is Paolo Scudieri going around, making contact with the barriers. Safety car called for. Paolo Scudieri perfectly okay. That has changed the shape of things though, as Thibaut Valint trying hard now to really put the pressure on Eric Chung. This is Alexei Komarov. Robin Mays and Alexei Komarov together there. Plenty of action going on within Shell and within Shell Am as well. Shell drivers with the yellow strip across the top of the windscreen. Shell Am drivers with a black strip across the top of the windscreen. Sven Schirmer continuing to lead. And this for the Ams. And a brilliant move there by Lucas Azzato, putting it to the inside of Shintaro Akatsu. And that's a change for the lead in Copa-Shell Am. That's Eric Chung, who we're riding on board with, who's gone around. Good recovery very quickly from Eric Chung. It's going to be Sven Schirmer that wins for the Shell drivers, and for the Shell Am drivers, 3 out of 3 for Lucas Azzato. Bit of delight there from Sven Schirmer. We're standing by
And
for the
now we are
podium
ready
here.
for the first
And here's
podium
Michele
to the
Mambelli.
Shell Am class. On the podium, third, Boris Gideon. Second driver on the podium, Shintaro Akatsu. And the winner is Lucas Azzato. Team winner, Castle Racing on the podium. And now, national anthem. Our claps for the winners and the trophy are presented by Mr. Reno De Paoli, head of Ferrari Hub Europe and Africa. Mr. De Paoli, the trophy for the third driver, please.
Here comes the trophy presentations then. Reno De Paoli making the trophy presentation to Boris Gideon.
Boris Gideon, the trophy for the second driver.
For P3, Shintaro Akatsu then.
Shintaro Akatsu.
He takes P2.
And
then on the top step of the podium. And as I mentioned, it's 3 out of 3, having taken 2 victories in for Ricard. And now he's added the first race here in Mugello to his victory tally. Well done, Lucas Azato.
And the team trophy for Kessel Racing.
So the eponymous team that's run by Ronnie Kessel picks up the team trophy.
And now, please, all drivers, first step of the podium, Mr. Reno Alzato and team manager on the podium, please, for photos, please, on the podium.
Michele does his
Okay.
level best, doesn't
lift
he?
Your trophy, up your trophy.
Up your trophies.
Okay.
Well
Amazing.
done.
Okay, pictures and images from Mugello, Italy, and now wait a second, please Reno and the team manager out of the podium. And the show is not over without champagne!
Oh, well, Boris was definitely, by no shadow of a doubt, the winner of the champagne race, Nico.
100%. Finished P3 with this very car, but won the champagne race, and
Rilla and Schnauk.
doesn't get an extra point for the champagne thing.
No, you don't. No, you don't.
Sadly.
Is that something that we could put forward to the powers that be? Maybe you could gain an extra point for the champagne race. Just saying. I'll get my coat. Don't worry, I'll get it for you, he says. P1 for Lucas Azato then, and what a fantastic start to the season he's had, taking 3 wins out of 3 starts. That's not at all bad in terms of a tally, is it? Still to come, the Shell podium, of course, and also still to come, we've got Trofeo Pirelli and Pirelli Am race as well. And Drivers' Championship for Shell Am then, already with a 23-point lead. Up 2 places, here's Lucas Azato. Up 2 places, rather, is Boris Gideon, who vaults now Andreas Koenig and Shintaro Akatsu up to P2 in the points. And, yeah, it's going to be a very, very interesting run to the final round in Barcelona between all of these drivers, every single one of which. Look at that, Giuseppe Romelli up 9 places.
And now the second podium.
And here comes the second podium. We can hear Michele Mambelli ready to bring our Shell drivers now onto the podium.
Jan Sandman. Second driver, Tibor Valent. And the winner is Sven Schomer. On the podium, the winning team, Penske Volkswagen Hamburg. National anthem. Il nostro applauso, our claps for the winners. The trophy are presented by Mr. Reno De Paoli, head of
Reno De
Ferrari
Paoli
Hub
once again is
Europe
going to make the
and
trophy
Africa.
presentations.
Please, present the trophy for the third driver on the podium, Jan Sandman.
Jan
Reno
Sandman
De
then.
Paoli.
P3.
The trophy for
Stand
the
by.
second
Tibor
driver on the
Valent will be
podium,
receiving his
Tibor
P2 trophy right
Valent.
now. And then on the top
And
step
the
of the
trophy
podium.
for the winner trophy, Sven Schömer.
Bear in mind, Sven Schömer, winner in Shell. He is the current Shell Am champion
and now
as well.
the team for Penske Sportwagen Hamburg, the team for you guys. And please, the drivers all on the first step. And Mr. Reno De Paoli and team manager here, please lift your trophy. Okay. Amazing, beautiful imaging from Mugello circuit. Okay, out of the podium the guest. Wait a second, drivers. Okay, Mr. Reno De Paoli.
Hello, it's going to be Valent here.
Champagne!
Whoa, actually, I'm not so sure. What was it? Just
Yeah.
shaded it, did he?
Yeah, video assistant referee says it was Valent, and there was a dead heat for a second among our German drivers. And
Do you know what I love about working with you?
Nothing.
No, you were right. Okay, we'll take a look at the Drivers' Championship in terms of the Ferrari Challenge Copa Shell drivers in just a moment. We're looking at the top three right now, though. Tibor Valent, Jan Salmon, Sven Schömer, not in that order necessarily. And looking forward already for the Copa Shell race tomorrow. Thank you so much for joining us for today. But bear in mind, we've still got a Trofeo Pirelli and Pirelli Am race to come. That is assuming that I've not been fired before then. Every possibility, I can assure you. But so there is Sven Schömer then. Penske Sportwagen Hamburg. In the end, it was 7/10 that he took the win by over Tibor Valent, so it was close. Right, Jan Sandman is leading the Drivers' Championship by dint of consistency. Sven Schömer up 2 places to P2. Von Skeltermar P3, then it's Eric Chung up 4 places. Tibor Valent down 3, Lisa Clark. That's the way the Drivers' Championship is looking at the moment. It's going to be a great race tomorrow, great qualifying tomorrow from our Copa Shell drivers as well. And, well, I hope you've enjoyed those races. We do have Trofeo Pirelli and Pirelli Am race still to come live from Mugello. Make sure you join us for that. Stay tuned for that, please. So still plenty of race action to come from this fantastic circuit in the beautiful Tuscan countryside where the sun is shining. From Nico and from myself, thank you so much for watching Ferrari Challenge Copa Shell and Copa Shell Am. We'll see you for Trofeo Pirelli and Trofeo Pirelli Am in just a few moments from now. Bye-bye for now. Hi everyone, a very good afternoon to you. Welcome to Mugello and round 2 of Ferrari Challenge for 2026 here in Europe. As you will have seen from the graphics, it's a fantastic championship that spreads across the world, but we are here in Europe for round 2 in Mugello. Situated in the beautiful Tuscan countryside with the sun shining right now. This is the Mugello circuit where, of course, the European season ended last year. But this is what it looks like when the sun shines. It is truly beautiful here for round 2. Before we head off to the Styrian region of Austria and Spielberg, then it's in support of the 24-hour race with 2 races for the Ferrari Challenge at Le Mans. Then we're in Portugal for Portimao. Then it is Budapest and Barcelona. What an absolutely stunning calendar for 2026. I've been looking forward to it for ages and ages and ages. And yeah, it's all underway right now. Track temperature is 43 degrees. The air temperature is a truly lovely 29. I beg your pardon, take 8 off of that. It's 21 degrees. It feels like 29 at times if you stand in direct sunlight here in the paddock. And we're situated in a lovely air-conditioned studio in the circuit here in Mugello. And as always, the Trofeo Pirelli and Pirelli Am Grid is a packed place to be if you're a fan of motorsport, of which, of course, we all are. 30 minutes plus 1 lap of racing to come. The driver that put it on pole position for the Pirelli cars, Sergio Paula. The driver that put it on pole position for the Pirelli Am drivers, Michael Verhagen. And yeah, there's another dozen or so drivers that are going to be champing at the bit to try and advance their positions as we look at car number 22, which is driven by Enzo Eid. There you can see final stages of preparation for Enzo. It gives me great pleasure, Nico, to say the Enzo name. It's kind of synonymous with this fantastic Ferrari racing.
Yeah, it's one of those that in the realm of Ferrari will always carry a special sound, and not that special sounds in the Ferrari Challenge are a rarity. It's full of that, whether it be the power plants of our 296 and the voice alongside me.
Oh, that's kind. This is Michael Verhagen then going from P1 within class. The Ferrari Warsaw driver and Trofeo Pirelli Am driver. Ferrari Warsaw. Michael Verhagen, super driver, super chap as well. Have a lot of fun with Michael, it has to be said. And they're just some of the spectators to enjoy the racing that comes from the Ferrari Challenge. And as I was mentioning, with all those championships around the world, not only here in Europe, but also the UK, in Japan, North America, Australasia, and the Middle East as well. And Nico, it's not just here in Europe that we're racing this weekend, is it?
No, we already had a race this morning, very early morning, Central European time in Okayama, and we'll have another one tomorrow morning. So go and find the scheduling for that. It's also entertaining racing in Japan. Obviously, each region has a little bit of a different flavor.
Yes, it does. Yes, it does.
By the regional culture, whether it's the UK, whether it's North America, Australasia, or Japan, or here in Europe.
I've not been to Okayama. Well, I've been to Fuji, but not Okayama.
That's a mission to do, still do, maybe, potentially.
Oh, but potentially, yes, potentially. Yeah, but the reach of this wonderful one-make series is so great. Of course, so many names that have come out of the stable of Ferrari, of famous drivers, including the likes of Andrea Bertolini.
600esimo, chiaramente una giornata unica, speciale. Ho la fortuna di viverne tante, perché ogni giorno, quando ho la possibilità di collaudare la storia della Ferrari, è una giornata incredibile. Raggiungere 600 collaudi è qualcosa di importante, è qualcosa davvero di emozionante. Ogni vettura ha un qualcosa di particolare. Risulta difficile davvero decidere qual è la migliore. Sicuramente la 2004 per me è ancora la regina delle Formula 1. Ora guardiamo avanti, guardiamo al numero 700, continuiamo a lavorare. Ho la fortuna di fare parte di questo team incredibile di ragazzi ingegneri hanno sempre lavorato, mi hanno permesso di arrivare a 600 con l'Audi. Arriveremo presto anche a 700, ma l'importanza è sempre dare un servizio al top per i nostri clienti.
Well, he's a top guy, Andrea Bertolini. He was one of the first drivers that I met when I joined Ferrari years ago. And I have to say, true gentleman. Awesome racing driver as well. And yeah, that's a big number in terms of shakedowns. Well done, Andrea.
For sure, and we often say that, you know, Ferrari, it's a family. And I think if someone embodies that with his longevity, then Andrea Bertolini certainly in a very short list.
I completely agree with that. Andrea, whose home is just outside of Misano. Yeah, he truly embodies it, as you say. There is our grid of Pirelli and Pirelli Am drivers then ready to set off on track, and tyre trolleys being taken away right now. 30 minutes plus 1 lap is the race duration we have for Ferrari Challenge, Trofeo Pirelli and Pirelli Am. All non-essential staff have been asked to leave the grid right now. We were mentioning that we're not only racing here in Europe this weekend, but also in Japan. Next weekend, of course, the UK Championship will continue. We'll be racing at the Snetterton circuit just next weekend, which is not far from where I live in the UK, to be fair. So, yeah, very much looking forward to that. There aren't many weekends where there's not some Ferrari racing activity going on, I have to say. And as we speak, I know there's a big cavalcade in Monaco this weekend as well. So, yeah, a lot going on. There is the Richard Mills safety car that will be leading the cars away on the formation lap, Nico. As is always the case, rolling start to the Ferrari Challenge. We look at the beautiful colours of Nobuhiro Imada in the number 44 car, and alongside him the number 22 car of Enzo Aide. So let's take a look at what happened right now in the opening round of the Ferrari Challenge, which of course came in the south of France at the Paul Ricard circuit in Le Castellet. It's a circuit that is revered by the drivers, and as the cars were released, everyone jostling for position. A lot of runoff area, which is just as well on occasions at the Paul Ricard circuit, allowing drivers to take advantage. The start here of something good going on as Nobuhiro Imada losing out to Danilo Del Favaro. And Nobuhiro Imada continued to lose some positions. Sergio Paula would be victorious, chased by Gilles Renmans. And then it was time for race 2. And again, the cars were released. It was good qualifying from Gilles Renmans, good qualifying from Sergio Paula, and he was absolutely determined to put his nose in front, and that's precisely what he did. Lots of action across the track, and Michael Verhagen and Danilo Del Favaro coming together, and Michael was the first to apologise for that as the checkered flag fell for Sergio Paula and for Michael Verhagen. That was what it was like at the Paul Ricard circuit in the south of France. Right now, the cars are about to be released for their formation lap. 30 minutes plus 1 lap of racing to come here at the Mugello circuit. 5.245 kilometers, 14 turns, 6 of them are left-handers, 8 of them are right-handers. Sector 1 contains 3 turns, Sector 2 contains 6 turns, Sector 3 with 5 turns. It's undulating, that's for sure. It's like a roller coaster ride, which my colleague alongside me loves. Me, less so, I have to be honest with you. Talking about the roller coasters as opposed to this circuit. I love this circuit, but roller coasters is not something for me, it has to be said. But for you, you're a bit of an adrenaline junkie. You love all that stuff, don't you?
Well, sometimes. But
Formula Rosso you've done, haven't you, on a number of occasions?
Indeed, but we're united by the admiration for the Ferrari Challenge, and here are our protagonists.
Otto Blank and Karl Runefeld, and ahead of them are Max Mugelli and Jacob Bidstrup. They're going from P10 and P9. Herbert Guys and Danilo Del Favaro, they go from P8 and P7. It's Anders Bidstrup and Giacomo Rinaldo that go from P6 and P5. Enzo Ede then P4 and Nobuhiro Imada from P3. But on the front row of the grid, it is Michael Verhagen and Sergio Paulet. If it's got a red color band around the graphics, that means it's a Pirelli driver. If it's a white graphic, a Pirelli AM driver. So, yes, that Formula Rosso roller coaster that Nico has enjoyed at Ferrari World in Abu Dhabi more than once. I bailed, it has to be said.
Happy to be back in Mugello. Beautiful track, and very happy for my third pole in a row, so very important for the championship. And I expect to be calm in the race, try to not over push. This track has a lot of bananas and strong curves, so I have to try to save the car because it's important not to break anything in the race. Be safe and stay in P1 and get more points for the full championship.
Thank you very much, Sergio. And if my memory serves me, talking about that roller coaster, I think my TV director that's in my ears, one Mr. Franco Maselli, also joined you on that theme park fun ride.
Indeed, and if you were wondering what the bananas were, it's not Super Mario Kart, it is the sausage curbs, as they are sometimes called, which roughly resembles that. So if maybe that helped a little bit.
Well, I was talking to Max Mugelli about those very topics, actually, at lunch, and he was saying that, you know, they are quite severe here in Mugello, and, you know, that can, you know, if you run them too hard, you can do damage to the suspension. So, you know, that was interesting to hear it from a driver's side perspective, if you like, Max Mugelli. Right, the cars will grid up side-by-side formation then. The Richard Mills safety car will peel off into the pit lane, Nico. It will then be the responsibility of Sergio Paulet and Michael Verhagen to control the pace of the rolling start. We will throw the lighting gantry to the top of the screen so that you can see when the starting officials turn those 5 red lights out, and we will be racing.
Indeed, and don't be surprised, they're pretty far back on this straight because the straight is so long, so it's a few more meters from that final turn.
Here we go then, Sergio Paulet on the inside, to the left of your picture, to the right of your picture it is Michael Verhagen. There is the lighting gantry. Stand by when the lights go out, we will be racing. They're going to be held. 5 red lights go out right now. Let's go racing. Great start from Sergio Paulet. Good start too from Michael Verhagen in the second stage of it, but Enzo Ede is really chasing him down here. And Nobuhiro Imada trying to get to the inside here. King of the late breakers going into turn number 1. You've got to be very, very brave. And of course you're on coldish tyres going around turn number 1. And it's as we were, or is it? Yes, it is. Sergio Paulet, Nobuhiro Imada on a real battle here with Enzo Ede. They're side by side. Enzo's just out into the gravel. And that means that he is one of the Bidstrups that's through and is going to be chasing Herbert Geis right now. I think Herbert Geis has had a good start and he's P3 within class.
Yeah, Herbert Geis with a great start, and Danilo Del Favro, he is now putting the pressure on Jacob Bidstrup. Herbert Geis was alongside Danilo Del Favro at the start, so you can see how far he has already moved up the order. Yeah, Faride is not obviously pushed wide or ran wide on the exit of that chicane, and that has cost him quite a few positions.
There's Nobuhiro Imada then running P3 in the race overall. It's P2 within class as Sergio Paulet's trying to stretch his legs. And here we can see the rest of the cars coming through, and someone just kicking up a bit of gravel there. Max Mugelli, another driver on a move here and on something of a mission, because he is a Pirelli driver that's stuck right in the middle of this Pirelli AM battle. And of course, every driver, whichever way they qualify. So Max Mugelli has got Ronaldo and Anders Bidstrup ahead of him. Let's ride on board right now and see what it's like from a driver's side perspective inside the 296 Challenge car of Jacob Bidstrup, the Formula Racing driver. Just the discretion, a better part of valor there, as he was running very, very close and just dives out to avoid any contact with the car ahead of him. And that car is the car of Max Mugelli. So Sergio Paulet stretching his legs. Now, there's an incident involving cars number 22 and 44 in turn 4, and that was Nobuhiro Imada and also the car of Enzo Ede, which pushed Enzo effectively into the gravel. That has been noted by race control. big climbers, Max Mugello up 3 places. Herbert Guys, though, the biggest climber of them all, up 4 places, as you picked up on. Good spot there, Nico. So Sergio Paula, Michael Verhagen and Nobuhiro Imada stay exactly as they are. Herbert Guys in a very good podium place at the moment for the Pirelli AM drivers. There's still a long, long way to go in this race. 27.5 minutes plus 1 lap still to be done.
Yeah, and Anders Bidstrup, who is chasing Guys, he was second in the second race at Le Castellet, so he will certainly have the confidence.
Yes.
And he will try to get another podium, of course, but for the time being, there is a little bit of a gap between Guys and Bidstrup, which is 4 seconds. So here is Anders Bidstrup and Herbert Guys 4 seconds up the road, but as you say, early stages of the race, that can all still change. And there...
Don't want to be the prophet of doom here, but we saw in the Kobe Shell race earlier on today how track limits was something of an issue, Nico, and I hope you'll forgive me for mentioning it. But Anders Bidstrup, in his quest to get alongside Herbert Guys, has already picked up 1 track limit violation. Let's get a replay of the start then. As the lights went out, wow, you could see Danilo Del Favaro with lightning quick reactions there in terms of the steering input, but actually it did him no favors at all. He lost so much ground. So into turn number 1. Now this is where Enzo Eid and Nobuhiro Imada had something of a coming together. I think there was 6 of one, half a dozen of the other, I would have suggested, Nico. Let's try and see it from this angle or viewpoint. To be fair to Enzo, he did well to keep his foot in and control it.
Yes, indeed. First glance, from our vantage point, I would say they were running alongside maybe one car with a little bit of a twitch. I would find it difficult to find someone at fault based on the first glance. But race control will have more perspectives, potentially also look at data, and therefore they will make an informed decision. Sergio Paulet, he is stretching his legs over the EM drivers who are chasing him, but Verhagen, Imada, Guys, Bidstrup, Rinaldo, those are the next 5 drivers, and then there is Max Mugello, who hasn't moved up the order yet, but he's right behind those 2 drivers, and if he starts overtaking, that could put a dynamic onto the battle in the EMs as well.
Oh, that's very fair. That's very fair. So Anders Bidstrup and Rinaldi then. Giacomo Rinaldo, driving for the Rosso Corsa team. Driver of the number 75 car, the all-red car being chased down by Max Mugello, as Nico identified, and just ahead of them is Anders Bidstrup. His last lap, 1:52.381. Sergio Paula and Michael Verhagen breaking away from the rest of the pack a bit. Nobuhiro Imada steadfast in that P2 position, P3 in the race overall. White strip across the top of the windscreen, AM driver. Red strip across the top of the windscreen, Pirelli driver. That's the difference between the 2 categories that we have racing here. So let's see now what Giacomo Rinaldo can do to try and get on terms with Anders Bidstrup going into turn number 1. King of the late breakers going into turn 1. You're approaching 290 kilometers per hour here, Nico, as you get into turn number 1. Danilo Del Favaro is chasing down Jacob Bidstrup right now. Danilo Del Favaro, who lost out right at the start of the race. For some curious reason, the car just twitched to one side. We saw that in the replay. We're riding on board with Jacob Bidstrup currently. And the topsy-turvy nature of this Mugello circuit means that the drivers, it's quite a demanding track, Nico. The drivers are having to focus and concentrate 100% jolly near for the entire lap. And it's only really on the start-finish straight where they get the opportunity to even take half a breather, I would suggest.
Indeed. Danilo Del Favaro, he already has 2 podium positions to his name this season, so he feels like he's out of position in P9 overall and will try to move up the order. But Jacob Bidstrup, different thoughts in that regard, and he's trying to move up the order for himself. So different ambitions colliding potentially.
Yes, we hope collide will not be the word of favour, but yes, you're quite right. And Danilo Del Favaro then surely he's done enough now, heading into the chicane. I would have thought Danilo Del Favaro might be in gun position here.
It's not good to running alongside, side by side through that chicane is not something you generally taught in driving school. So let's see who comes out on top from that, and hopefully both stay on the track. No indication otherwise.
So we're on board with Jacob Bidstrup right now. Danilo Del Favaro is right alongside. Now, it's a long way around the outside, and you've got to be brave and you've got to be bold. Well, that's something that we certainly know Danilo Del Favaro is. Bidstrup running a bit wide, but Enzo Ede taking advantage, and he could do 2 in 1 here, Nico. He came from a long way back on the start-finish straight, put it to the inside of Danilo Del Favaro. It worked, and he very nearly upset Jacob Bidstrup at the same time.
Yeah, I mean, Ede had
Whoa! Del Favaro trying to come back now.
Yeah, he's not going to take that lying down now. Ede obviously had the pace in qualifying by virtue of finishing much higher up the order than those drivers around him right now. But yeah, he dropped back, and now he has to find a way past. And that was an opportune overtaking. And as you said, almost made it 2 in 1. But now he is in that sandwich of contestants. In the meantime, Giacomo Rinaldo, 3 track limit infractions. He is currently running in P5 in class, and that's a perilous position with still 21 minutes plus a lap remaining.
Yes, it is. It is a perilous position. You're absolutely right. So Anders Bidstrup being chased by Giacomo Rinaldo, but Giacomo Rinaldo then with those 3 track limits violations means he's on his final warning. The next one will involve a time penalty. So it's quite a big ask to expect you to do 21 minutes and a lap, and not if you've done 3 already. I would have suggested Nico,
but there is Anders Bidstrup with a little bit of a sideways moment. I think that was enough. That was enough for Rinaldo to take advantage. I think they're still side by side, but has Rinaldo more of a momentum, or is Anders going to get back at him? I think the latter actually right now.
It's track position, Nico. Anders has got the inside line here. Rinaldo's going to try and go and try and get the switch back now and try and get underneath Bidstrup, but I don't think he's close enough to be able to do it.
No, fair point. Anders Bidstrup, meanwhile, also already 2 track limits infractions as well, so he's not totally safe either. But he's holding firm and has got that place back.
Onto the gravel, Rinaldo is pushing and pushing and pushing. And of course, he's being propelled into this a little bit by Max Mugello, who's right up his trumpet, Nico. Max Mugello, who's in a non-class battle with these drivers.
Absolutely. Sergio Paulet 4 seconds to the good of everybody else, but other than that, the gaps, as you can see and as you can attest, are really, really close, and lots of action going on, especially in this pack of 5 drivers. 6 drivers, actually, led by Anders Bidstrup.
Yes, it is a 6-way fight going on here, isn't it? Anders Bidstrup driving the number 29 car ahead of Giacomo Rinaldo. Then it is Max Mugello and Jacob Bidstrup and Enzo Ede ahead of Danilo Del Favaro. Extraordinary stuff that we're enjoying here. It's all part of the Ferrari Challenge Trofeo Pirelli and Pirelli Am action. Rinaldo just dipping his wheels into the gravel here. Enzo Ede continuing to try and find a way past Jacob Bidstrup, being denied thus far as we ride on board with the Formula Racing driver that is Jacob Bidstrup. Over the rumble strips. And now heavy braking into the final turn. Danilo Del Favaro trying to get to the inside of Enzo Ede right now, taking a completely different line around that final turn. And here we go again with this 6-way shootout that is going on. Really, really enjoyable stuff. We're 18.5 minutes plus 1 lap of racing still to come in this Trofeo Pirelli and Pirelli Am race. So into turn 1, here comes Danilo Del Favaro just taking a look at Enzo Ede, but there was nothing doing there. And looking back from the car of Jacob Bidstrup, the rear view camera is actually providing some phenomenal footage, Nico, of this race that's going on but right behind. So we're on board the Formula Racing driver Jacob Bidstrup now, who's rattling the fillings in his teeth as he goes over the rumble strips, that's for sure.
Yeah, I think this onboard shot gives you a great perspective of how little time the drivers are going straight at any given part of the circuit. I mean, it's just a few moments and then you're already putting the steering input back into the car to hit the apex, and your mind is working throughout the entire lap. And under these conditions in the heat, that's quite a challenging part, and we're still not even half race distance.
Here is Michael Verhagen, who is running P2 in the race overall, but P1 in class. In the live championship, he would be on 50 points, 20 points ahead of Herbert Guys. If it stays this way, though, Herbert Guys is moving up 2 places in the Drivers' Championship. So plenty to play for, as you were saying, during the course of this race, which, as you say, hasn't even reached half distance yet. Nobuhiro Imada, driver that does a lot of racing and is a very, very talented driver, and we're delighted that he's part of the Ferrari Challenge Europe contingent. And this 6-way strike continues, Nico, unabated. I have to say, fair play to Anders Bidstrup and Giacomo Rinaldo, who have not been for shoving at all, have they? Despite the pressure from Max Mugello right behind. They've absorbed it all like the proverbial sponge.
Yeah, and even though some battles intensify and drop away a little bit, the gaps really haven't changed at all. So we are pretty much the same as we were 5, 6, 7 minutes ago, and that really, really sets us up for a great second half of this race. On-board shot from Jacob Bidstrup. It's almost a carbon copy of what we had just 2 laps ago.
And the thing is that something to consider during the second half of the race is that the ambient temperature the way it is, track temperature the way it is, tyre degradation will begin to play a part, I would suggest. I mean, the longevity of the Pirelli tyres is awesome, but quite clearly they're not going to offer you the same grip at the end of the race as they did at the start of qualifying. Do bear in mind that all the drivers qualified on the tyres that they're racing on right now.
Yes, absolutely. And for those drivers who made the hard work initially, climbing positions, maybe they put more strain on their Pirelli Zeros already.
It's a worthy point. Well, I have to say, Sergio Paula and Michael Verhagen, along with Max Mugello, Jacob Bidstrup, Enzo Eid, Danilo Del Favaro and Otto Blank are the only drivers that haven't had a track limits at the moment. As right now, has Enzo Eid done enough? They go side by side here. Enzo Eid then and Jacob Bidstrup absolutely side by side. It was a completely different line through the final turn. Heading up towards turn number 1 right now. Please stay with this. I think Bidstrup is going to have the advantage. No, he's not. Well, fair play to Eid, who put it around the outside, Nico, and was brave enough to be able to be committed to it along the start-finish straight, knowing that he was going to have to execute it through turn 1.
Yeah, absolutely. Had great trust and confidence in the car and the grip level. And it took
and the driver alongside him, it has to be said.
Absolutely, absolutely. And now all of a sudden there is the potential for more changes of position, but still Anders Bidstrup holding strong. But you can kind of get the feeling that Rinaldo, who's now also at, both of them are now at 3 track limit warnings and on their final warning. So this has the potential to go very right and very, very wrong in multiple ways. So it's the great drama that's playing out. A little bit wide from Bidstrup.
That's surely going to be enough.
He's still got the inside line around there. But he has to be really, really careful not to cut the corner too much. And Max Mugello is slowly creeping up into this.
He's like a viper waiting to pounce, isn't he? And here comes Enzo Eid as well, Nico. So all of a sudden it becomes a 4-way fight.
Indeed, and remember, Anders Bidstrup, he is in P4 in class, so it's not a podium position at the moment, but things can change. And would you be shocked if all of a sudden it was Del Favaro on the podium at the end of this race? I wouldn't be. And again, they are side by side, and you could see that Bidstrup really, really hugged the white line because he couldn't afford to run wide.
But on this occasion, it's Ronaldo alongside Bidstrup. Now, can Ronaldo do what he did last time around? I don't think he's quite got the momentum, Nico, if I'm honest with you. Eid now to the inside of Max Mugello. Mugello will let him go because it would be futile to fight him. It's going to make no difference in terms of class position for Max Mugello, and it's better being discretionary with regards to valor than sometimes pushing just too hard and ending up in the gravel potentially.
Absolutely, and you can see that Ida, who was very, very quick in qualifying, he's now clawing back position after position, and that at this stage of the race, after what he must have put his tires through already, that's really, really remarkable.
Yes, commendable, I would go so far as to say. So they being the 6 drivers that are in shot right now, have delivered some extraordinary action for us. In the meantime, under pressure now from Nobuhiro Imada, Nico. This is for the lead in the Pirelli AM race. So Michael Verhagen has either lost a bit of pace or Nobuhiro Imada has found his pace, because the gap between them is about 3/10.
Yeah, and it's a continuation of qualifying where Imada, remember, was very far down the order for almost the entire session and almost clawed pole position away from Verhagen at the gun in the final dying stages of qualifying. Didn't quite make it by a 10th or so, but now that battle continues and it's intensifying. The race win is up for grabs. 11 minutes and change plus a lap remaining, and Imada is playing the long game today.
And Nobuhiro Imada with a lot of racing experience, Nico, not only in these wonderful challenge cars, but also in single-seaters as well. He really knows his stuff, does a lot of racing, takes it very seriously, and is always a welcome addition to the grid. And he is certainly putting Michael Verhagen through his paces. In the meantime, Sergio Paulet, I know it's an oft-vaunted expression, he is so far up the road by 7.6 seconds, he's been checking his emails. I'm joking. But Sergio Paulet then with a commanding lead. Michael Verhagen, of course, is not able to get closer to Sergio Paulet because his rear-view screen is full of the number 44 car, Nobuhiro Imada. 2 drivers on their final warnings with regards to track limits, and they are Anders Bidstrup and Giacomo Rinaldo. So we stay with this battle, which is on for the lead in Trofeo Pirelli AM. Nobuhiro Imada. To be fair, Nico, to make an overtake happen here at Mugello, you either do it really going into turn number 1, or you try and provoke a mistake somewhere else on the track.
That is the usual place. Now, Enzo Ida has split Giacomo Rinaldo and Anders Bidstrup, we can tell from our timing screen. And that's probably where he did it. He can't overtake on the outside through that part of the track. It's just impossible, but sometimes the impossible happens. I've never seen an overtake through there in my entire life.
You have now.
Wow.
And I have to say, credit and fair play.
Absolutely. That and change. And there is Danilo Del Favaro. So talk about positions changing. He was He was at the end of the crocodile just a lap and a half ago, and now he has overtaken both Mugello and Jacob Bidstrup and finds himself provisionally in P8.
Amazing stuff. Amazing stuff. Nobuhiro Imada, despite the pressure on Michael Verhagen. Verhagen, to be fair, Nico, seems to have absorbed it quite well and has just kept his head down. I can't help but feel that Nobuhiro Imada will have another go before the end of the race. As it stands, it would be Verhagen, Imada and Gies that would be the top 3. Sergio Paulet and Max Mugello the top in terms of Trofeo Pirelli drivers. Nobuhiro Imada just beginning, in my opinion, to take liberties with track limits, Nico, which may come to haunt him, but in fairness, with only 8 minutes plus 1 lap left, maybe not.
Yeah, he's in that position where he didn't use any of his jokers.
Therefore, yes.
And therefore, he can afford to be just that little bit more, not wayward, but aggressive in certain parts.
Mr. Good.
It's Mr. Good.
Nobuhiro Imada. Sergio Paulet, 8 seconds to the good up the road, Nico. Nico. That's quite some lead.
Yeah, that is quite some lead. But obviously also Verhagen and Imada, they've been more focusing on each other. So because they're in their own separate race. Imada, we just been advised, has picked up his second track limit infraction. So not in immediate danger, but something to bear in mind, as there is Danilo Del Favero.
And the reason we're seeing that graphic is because Danilo Del Favero putting it to the inside here. I have to say, Nico, we've seen some unorthodox overtakes, or not unorthodox, but unorthodox places, and that was on Anders Bidstrup, and it worked.
Yeah, and so he's as you can see now, there are both Bidstrups chasing the Max Mugello car, and Danilo Del Favero has royally dispatched of all of them. And will he be able to get back on terms with this battle? Ronaldo and Ide, and I mean, Ide is showing the consistency throughout this race. That's quite remarkable.
It's not beyond the realms of possibility, is it, that we will see Danilo Del Favero get onto this. Well, it's been quite some twists and turns, and with 6.5 minutes plus 1 lap remaining, I rather feel that the direction alterations haven't necessarily stopped yet.
No, and you were mentioning the 8 seconds that Paulet had over Verhagen. It's down to 5.5, and just on the first sector, Sergio Paulet lost like 1.5 seconds.
Oh.
So maybe there was just a little bit of a mistake. It's something that we will be watching.
Thanks for picking that up.
Because there is managing your lead, but losing 1.5 seconds in a sector is not managing your lead. So
it's quite a chunk, isn't it?
Well, so maybe that still bears watching, and it's not all over yet for the race win overall. 5 minutes 44 seconds plus a lap.
Here comes Nobuhiro Imada once again on Michael Verhagen. Into turn number 1, approaching 300 kilometers per hour as they break for turn number 1, the right-hander, and you climb uphill the San Donato turn. I was there just yesterday picking up, doing some pieces to camera, and it was remarkable as a time penalty is being issued now. You'll see it on screen in a moment, but Anders Bidstrup has picked up his 4th track limit, which means he's going to be getting a time penalty, and that's going to knock him out of his P7 in class. There you can see it on screen for you, confirmed car 29 with that time penalty. And it becomes ever harder, Nico, to keep the car within the white lines with the tyre degradation towards the end of the race. We've got 5 minutes plus 1 lap, or just under 5 minutes plus 1 lap still to do. I think Verhagen is just absorbing the pressure from Nobuhiro Imada, and he seems to be able to maintain the gap that he needs to. I mean, quite clearly he can ill afford to make any mistake, because Nobuhiro Imada is close enough to be able to be through, but I don't think Michael Verhagen is under immediate threat.
No, I would agree. And just to give you an update, the gap between Paulet and Verhagen has stabilized at roughly 5 seconds. So whatever happened there is not something that's lingering, at least not what we can tell by the data. So this driver, the number 1 car of Sergio Paulet, firmly in control, albeit with 3 seconds less of a lead than he was ahead.
Which is, you know, a chunk of time that's disappeared, but literally it is one error of judgment, one running wide somewhere. That's just enough to be able to do it. And when you're on your metal for the entire lap, and as Nico and I have both said, and here in Mugello, you just look at what he does with the inputs on the steering wheel. Absolutely on it the whole time. Your body weight is being taken from one side to the other. Of course, these drivers are all strapped in with those wonderful harnesses and the head and neck support and crash helmet, and just a quick glance to the rear view screen then to see if he could see anything behind him. But to be fair, you can see Giorgio Sonagiotto to the right-hand side of that picture, who's the head honcho at the Ineco Ripardo Corsa Ram team, seemed to be pretty laissez-faire about what was going on out there, was pretty happy with what Sergio Paulet was doing, I would suggest. Yeah,
immediate cause for alarm looks differently most of the time, and Sergio Paulet now I think is firmly in control mode, loses a couple of tenths here and there, but that gap is certainly strong enough to withstand the remaining race time that we have. Nobuhiro Yamada just picked up his final warning. 8/10 behind Michael Verhagen, so that is something where if you're Michael Verhagen, will your team tell you that? Or will they just think, well, there's actually no benefit in you knowing that. It's only when should a penalty come that you will be advised.
Yeah, I think I would agree with that. Otto Blank we're watching right now. And just ahead is Karl Runfeldt. Otto Blank for Lueg Sportivo Pro Racing and Karl Runfeldt for Autoropa Racing. A conversation with the dealer principal Martin Nelson, team boss from Autoropa, just before lunch. And he was telling me that he's so tempted to get back into a car again. He's a former Challenge driver, and as you would expect of me, Nico, I did very little to dissuade him from that idea. I think seeing Martin Nelson, who, to my mind, still had one of the most distinctive liveries on a Ferrari Challenge car.
Yeah, it was blue, green. No, the in-joke is that it was totally blue from one side, the other side it was totally green. So depending on which side we looked at it, it had a different color. Back to the script. A minute and a half plus a lap remaining, and Sergio Paul has just crossed the timing line.
So we're going to have the remainder of this lap plus one more.
It's going to be close, depending on when exactly he will cross the line.
Okay. My bet is it's...
Might be two more after this one.
Okay.
I think it's going to be just by a few moments or a few seconds, but I think it's going to be two more.
Okay, we will see. Michael Verhagen, Nobuhiro Yamada, 5 1/1000ths look quicker Nobuhiro Yamada was last time around. That's, taking it to the nth degree of advantage.
As we say in the industry, not much.
Yeah.
So Michael Verhagen, as you can see, being chased, and he's 4 seconds behind Sergio Paulet. We're 36 seconds still remaining. I do think Paulet will cross the timing line with a handful of seconds remaining, and that will mean that lap plus one more.
So there is Paulet. He was about entering the final turn, wasn't he? So I think you're right. I mean, it is going to be close. Where is Paulet now? He's on his way up the start-finish straight, isn't he? So yeah, comfortably. Actually, he's going to cross the line, so we're going to get the remainder of this lap plus one more. There is Michael Verhagen crossing the timing line, and Nobuhiro Yamada going through the Faye speed cam. And Max Mugello, who's running P8 overall, but of course P2 within class. The CDP Eureka competition driver who was telling me at lunch that despite this being a local track, he would not necessarily consider it to be his favourite track. Strange, isn't it?
Yeah, but sometimes it's just the characteristics which you like, you know, whether it's more flowing, whether it's more start-stop, tighter turns. Every driver has their style, and Mugello isn't just the perfect fit for Max's liking. So maybe next time Spielberg will be more down his alley, because that's very different characteristics. So the gaps, unfortunately, the great train of 6 cars that gave us so much entertaining around the middle of the race has dissipated a little bit. So the closest battle right now is actually between the Bidstrup brothers, although Enders actually also carries a 5-second penalty. So in reality, it's not that close.
Academic, isn't it? Academic, isn't it? So we're watching the number 3 car of Max Mugello, the Trofeo Pirelli driver, who's running P2 in class but P8 in the race overall, which is some testament to the pace of the Pirelli AM drivers in terms of qualifying as well. And the clock has counted down 2-0, so when Sergio Paulet crosses the timing line on this occasion, it will be the final lap that will be commenced. And Sergio Paulet certainly around the final turn now, heading towards turn 1. Having crossed the timing line, starts the final lap now of this Ferrari Challenge Trofeo Pirelli and Pirelli AM race 1 of the weekend here in Mugello. From here, as Nico indicated, we head off to the Styrian Mountains in Austria and the Spielberg circuit, ahead of, I want to talk about differences in terms of tracks, then it's 2 races at the Circuit de la Sarthe in support of the Le Mans 24-hour race. I mean, if you want a bit of difference, there is quite a bit of difference, Nico.
Yeah, I think top speed is pretty important there, as I hear. And obviously we will put all the cars into one grid, and that's going to be a show for itself. And then obviously you've got the drivers' parade and everything else that makes Le Mans so special and remarkable. Special and remarkable, the drive by Sergio Paulet, who is heading for home. Just a few more turns to do.
Yes, and that camera angle gives you a really good indication of the elevation changes here at the Mugello circuit. And you and I, Nico, we've walked this circuit on a number of occasions, and it never ceases to amaze that, you know, it really does. In fact, if there were any similarities between this and the next circuit that we're going to, is the fact that it just winds its way through the almost mountainous region, I would say. But enough of that, enough of my hyperbole and adjective-laden description of the circuit. There are few words to be able to command just how good this drive has been from Sergio Paulet. My view is he did all the hard work in qualifying, and that hard work in qualifying has paid off in the race as he takes the checkered flag. And Sergio Paulet then makes it 3 out of 3 by taking the win. Now, Michael Verhagen wins for the AM drivers ahead of Nobuhiro Imada. And then it has to be said, I want to give credit to each and every one of these drivers, because in their own way, Nico, they have contributed to the entertainment value we've seen across this Ferrari Challenge Trofeo Pirelli and Pirelli AM race this afternoon.
Indeed, Herbert Guys had a very quiet race.
He did.
But he is rewarded with a podium as the pit stops cross the line and trade places by virtue of the penalty. It's Jacob out of Anders. Fair play to all our drivers. Each of them who has started the race has or will make it across the finish line, as we still await Karl Runefeld and Otto Blank, but didn't lose a single one, as they've all now seen the checkered flag, and that's a very positive sign as well. Fair and respectful driving as they take the shortcut, which you've extolled the virtue and presence of.
Christian Colombo scared me into dicky fits taking that, Nico, when he took me for a hot lap round here. I didn't realise he didn't indicate he was going to do that, so it took me completely by surprise. There was I psychologically and physically setting myself up for the left-hander. It went right.
Yeah, I get that. Sergio Paulet didn't see why he lost the time, but that was his only mishap of the race, whatever happened there, and built easily enough of a margin and a gap to withstand that to earn this result.
Confirmation of the result then, Sergio Paulet taking the win. Michael Verhagen, Nobuhiro Imada and Herbert Guys, the top 3 in terms of the AM drivers, ahead of Giacomo Ronaldo. Then it was Enzo Ede ahead of Danilo Del Favro. Max Mugelli was P2 in Pirelli. Then it was Jacob Bidstrup, Anders Bidstrup, Karl Runefeld and Otto Blank. So the cars then brought back into the assembly area, and of course 2 podiums to come, and we'll be hearing from our championship leader and race winner, as well as Ludovica. We'll be trying to get hold of both of the race winners for us. That's Sergio Paulet and Michael Verhagen. There is Herbert Guys with the door flung open of the number 11 car for Maranello Motors Pro Racing, and Herbert then, who I think hails from the same town in Germany or city in Germany as yourself, Mr. Spalek.
Absolutely, Sergio Paulet, race winner. Yes, Maranello Motors, driven past that a million times. Never went in there and got one thus far.
Thus far? It's only a matter of time, I'm sure. Lesson for a photographer, watch where you're going. There is Herbert there is Herbert Guys. And there is Michael Verhagen.
Right, Michael Verhagen, race winner in the AM, says Dave tries and collect himself over the jubilations and joy and sometimes unintentional comedy of a Parc Fermé. There will be the very intentional information rather than comedy with an interview by Ludovica underneath the podiums in but a few moments. But Max Mugello finishes second in Pirelli, being congratulated. Obviously guests and friends here on his home turf. We will have a winner slow-mo in but a few moments, and that will be followed by the winner interview. First, Trofeo Pirelli, Sergio Paulet, and then we will have Michael Verhagen for the AMs. Maybe we'll get Dave back on the program later on. Winner interview for Sergio Paulet coming up. It's gonna be...
Forgive me. Sergio Paulet then, winner for Trofeo Pirelli. He is with Ludovica right now.
Sergio, congratulations. As your team say here at Parc Fermé, bravo Sergito. 3 pole and 3 win in a row. So congratulations. And this is for you an important result, even for the championship.
Yeah, for sure. I'm very, very happy to win again 3 in a row. So for the championship, it's very, very important. Track was very hot, honestly. I was suffering a little bit with the weather because we are almost in summer at this time at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. So it was a little bit tough, and I tried to make a little bit of a gap at the beginning, and then manage just to not kill the tires, not break the car with the curves, because the curves here are a little bit aggressive. So that's what I did. So job done, and see you in the next one tomorrow.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Well done, Sergio Paulet then. I was having a discussion with him just before the race, and he was saying that actually those curves are really aggressive, Dave, and you just need to try and keep off of them. Of course, we have 2 categories. We have Pirelli and Pirelli Am, and the winner of the Pirelli Am race is Michael Verhagen. Let's hear from him.
Michael, congratulations. First in your category and second in the general standing. So a very important result for you in this type of race that was not a simple race, even for the hot temperature.
Yeah, that's exactly what is. You had to control the tires, and yeah, at the beginning I give a little bit too much, so I had a lot of oversteer. Had a very fast Japanese competitor behind me, like he was very close. I tried to keep out of the, take as much track as possible, so really go with the flow, and yeah, we keep it on track, and I think, yeah, I'm really happy with the results, so we try to keep forwarding this. Yeah, it's amazing.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Well done, Michael, and well done for crediting Nobuhiro Imada. Ferrari Challenge, Trofeo Pirelli and Pirelli Am then ready to let loose here at the Mugello circuit. Heading into turn number 1, Sergio Paulet, Danilo Del Favaro with a huge move to the inside of the track and ended up costing him some places. Into turn number 1, all the cars come. Sergio Paulet, Michael Verhagen, and then Enzo Ede and Nobuhiro Imada having something of a coming together. That put Enzo Ede back down the order, hasn't it? Yes, it has. Danilo Del Favaro is trying to get up the road, but Enzo Ede is trying to come back now after that unfortunate moment. And there you can see the consternation inside the garages. Enzo Ede then absolutely determined. So too Danilo Del Favaro. Brilliant race action coming from all of these Pirelli Am drivers. And in the meantime, Sergio Paulet extending his lead. And there is Sergio Paulet, P1 then. And P1 in Pirelli Am, Michael Verhagen. But the rest of the Pirelli Am drivers, and there's Max Mugello, one of the Pirelli drivers in the mix as well. So lots going on around the San Donato turn number 1. And Enzo Ede getting the best of that turn, that's for sure, and he wasn't done yet. All the way around the outside, brilliant move from Enzo Ede if he can make it stick, and he does. Awesome overtake from Enzo Ede. Awesome drive from Sergio Paulet. Awesome too from Michael Verhagen, although beginning to suffer right now with the attention of Nobuhiro Imada. But it would be Sergio Paulet that would win for Pirelli and Michael Verhagen that would win in Pirelli Am. We'll be heading up to the podium next with Michele Mambelli, who'll be bringing the drivers out
And
on the
now
podium.
is all ready for the second podium, Pirelli IM class. First on the podium, Herbert Geiss. Second driver on the podium, Nobuhiro Imada. And the winner is Michael Verhagen. Winner team, Ferrari Varsavia. And now national anthem. Il nostro applauso, our claps for the winners, and the trophy are presented by Tommaso Rocca, Ferrari factory driver, the trophy for the third driver on the podium.
Tommaso will be joining us on the air tomorrow.
Sul podio. Tommaso Rocca for the second driver, Nobuhiro Imada.
Tommaso Mosca then.
And the Ferrari
factory driver. I remember him when he was a young whippersnapper in a junior category.
Michael Verhagen.
He's still pretty young, isn't he?
Well, yes, all right, but
And
when he was...
for the team, the trophy for the team, Ferrari
He's all right.
Varsavia,
He's still
Tommaso Mosca.
Well, compared to us anyway.
Yeah, absolutely.
And now Pirelli trophy, Federico Attorino, Pirelli Motorsport Trackside Engineering for the winner.
Federico then
Michael
making the
Verhagen.
Pirelli trophy award. Federico Attorini.
Now, please,
Torino, I should say.
Federico Tommaso on the podium, and all drivers on the first step. Please, team manager, Federico
Now,
and Tommaso.
this is a work of art, watching
Drivers,
Michele
lift
Mambelli
your trophy. Take your trophy and lift. Okay.
orchestrate the podium.
Amazing. Picture from Mugello circuit. Okay. 4 guests, please, out of the podium. Driver, wait, please. Tommaso, the team manager, and Federico. Wait. 3, 2, 1.
Herbert Geiss, by some measure, was going to win the champagne race. I predicted that, and I predicted it correctly. Top 3 then. Herbert Geiss, driver of the number 11 car for Maranello Motors Pro Racing. He took P3. Taking P2 for Formula Racing, Nobuhiro Imada. And then taking the win for Ferrari Warsaw. No discount in the driver that's made it 3 out of 3 so far this season, Michael Verhagen. Take a look at the Drivers' Championship. I predict that Michael Verhagen is going to lead. Indeed so. Up 2 places, though, Herbert Geiss. Down 1, Danilo Del Favro. Up 1, Nobuhiro Imada. Down 2, Anders Bittrup. Feel like a chart rundown DJ then, in terms of movers and shakers, in terms of who's where in the Drivers' Championship for Trofeo Pirelli Am. Still very early on in the season, it has to be said. But what do points make?
The winners,
Points make champions.
On the podium,
Here comes
Max Mugelli.
Here comes the Pirelli podium. Just going to be 2 drivers on there, and that's Max
And the
Mugelli
winner is,
and
from
Sergio
Spain,
Paulet.
Sergio Paulet. Team Ineco Reparto Corse Ram. National anthem. Now the claps for the winner and the trophy are presented by our driver, Tommaso Mosca.
Tommaso Mosca then making the trophy presentations to, first of all, Max Mugello.
Tommaso Mosca.
And then it is going to be Sergio Paulet
the winner trophy,
taking the winner's trophy.
Sergio Paulet from Spain. And the trophy for Team Ineco Reparto Corse RAM.
And the team's trophy presented as well.
And now Federico Attorino, Pirelli Motorsport
Federico
Trackside
Attorino
Engineer.
is here then for the Pirelli
winner,
trophy
Sergio
presentation,
Paulet.
also to Sergio Paulet.
Now please, on the podium, all on the podium.
All the drivers on the podium then. And I confidently predict that Mugello is going to be winning the Champagne
amazing.
race.
Max, your trophy up, okay. Perfect. And now, wait a second, Tommaso and Federico out of
Remember
the
what I said.
podium. And the show
gonna be
is
Mugello.
ready with the final battle. Champagne!
Ah, well, sometimes you win and sometimes I don't.
There's still tomorrow.
Super slow-mos of Max Mugello against CDP Eureka competition. Very much home race for Max Mugello. Less of a home race for Sergio Paulet, though of course we will be heading to Barcelona right towards the end of the season, which will be more like home, I would suggest, for Sergio Paulet, being of Spanish nationality. Well, Trofeo Pirelli and Pirelli Am then, and in the Drivers' Championship it is Sergio Paulet, Max Mugello P2, and Gilles Ranmans, who's only not here this weekend because he's racing in a different championship. So we expect to see him back in Austria. And here's some of the wonderful images from the Ferrari Challenge. Pirelli and Pirelli Am all seem to conjure up some wonderful images of, please let that photographer be in there, some wonderful images. And their first race done and dusted, second race to come tomorrow. From Nico and from myself, thank you so much for watching. Bye-bye.